What's up, Taiwan? I'm Yvonne with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. A major Taiwanese contract electronics manufacturer plans to invest up to $85 million in the state of Texas, a move aimed at avoiding heavy U.S. tariffs. Inventec announced the expansion in a statement on the Taiwan Stock Exchange. The company produces servers and notebook computers that use NVIDIA chips. Its Texas facility will focus on AI services and strengthen business partnerships in the U.S. Taiwan's government is trying to negotiate down tariffs of 32% currently on pause and has proposed increasing investment in the U.S. to decrease the trade surplus. April 30th marks the 50 years since the fall of Saigon and the end of the Vietnam War. While the impact on Vietnam and the United States is well documented, Taiwan's role in this war is little known. Chris Gorin brings us this report on how the two countries' histories are connected.
April 30th, 1975. A final standoff in Saigon, just before communist North Vietnamese forces claim victory. It's been 50 years since the last U.S. helicopters took off from its embassy in Saigon, leaving behind many, and marking an end to 2 decades of U.S. military involvement in Vietnam. More than 3 million Vietnamese were killed, and nearly 60,000 U.S. soldiers died in the conflict. Part of the U.S.'s global war against communism that left no country in the region unaffected, including Taiwan. The war pitted the Soviet and China-backed North against the U.S.-backed South. For Taiwan's leader Chiang Kai-shek, South Vietnam was a natural ally, both fighting for survival against communist foes. Leaders from the two countries often visited each other and maintained strong economic ties.
One significant aspect is that the two countries were large trading partners to each other. And this is very significant for Taiwan in their early stage of industrialization. At the peak of the Vietnam War, Taiwan's export to Vietnam, South Vietnam, were around 15%.
While Taiwan never openly participated in the fighting, they provided military assistance and training to South Vietnam. Sometimes there was more direct help. In 1964, 17 commandos from Taiwan were reportedly captured during covert operations in North Vietnam. Taiwan was also critical for the U.S. military, as an official location for troops on leave and as a transit location to and from Vietnam. Thousands of U.S. troops were stationed in Taiwan throughout the war, officially serving as trainers and advisors.
The battle against communism must be joined in Southeast Asia with strength and determination to achieve success there. Or the United States inevitably must surrender the Pacific and take up our defenses on our own shores. Asian communism is comprised and contained by the maintenance of free nations on the subcontinent. Without this inhibitory influence, the island outposts, Philippines, Japan, Taiwan, have no security, and the vast Pacific becomes a Red Sea.
U.S. forces would remain in Taiwan until their full withdrawal in 1979. Taiwan sometimes paid a price for its involvement. In 1967, Taiwan's embassy in Saigon was destroyed by a car bomb. The attack left at least 22 people injured. As the war turned against the U.S. and South Vietnam, its president, Nguyen Van Thieu, continued to make visits to Taiwan in 1969 and 1973. But eventually, he could fight no more. In April 1975, Thieu resigned as president and fled the country, and his first destination was Taipei. These photos, dated just 2 days after the fall of Saigon, show the now former President Thieu meeting with Taiwan's interim president Yan Jiagan, future president Jiang Jingguo, and paying respects to Jiang's father, Chiang Kai-shek, who had died just weeks earlier. Thieu would spend the rest of his life in exile in the UK and US. The war's end led to a refugee crisis. Often referred to as boat people, most refugees fled to neighboring countries such as Laos, Thailand, and Malaysia as they waited to move on.
Of course, I want to get to Australia or US or Canadian, where I think I can make my life better. I have risked my life for freedom.
Some refugees landed on Taiwan's territory. More than 2,000 passed through a refugee camp set up in its outlying Penghu Islands. A small number stayed, forming the roots of the Vietnamese community in Taiwan.
So at that time, there were around 200 people who cannot get the permission to move to any countries at all. Nobody wants them. So in the end, Taiwanese government allowed them to stay Taiwan.
If you go to some Vietnamese restaurants here in Taipei, especially in the Mu Cha area, you are likely to end up in meeting with some former refugees who used to live in Phanghua Island.
Taiwan normalized relations with communist Vietnam in 1992, 3 years before the U.S. did the same. 50 years later, Ho Chi Minh City stands where Saigon once fell. Its nearby battlefields, now tourist attractions. Vietnam, the U.S., and Taiwan all continue to have strong economic and cultural ties. But the legacy of the war and Taiwan's role in it remains woven into history. Klein Wong and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
Gardening enthusiasts in India's cities are finding new ways to bring nature into people's homes and promote sustainable living in dense urban environments. Miriam Brunner tells us more.
India is among the countries most affected by rapid industrialization and climate change. It struggles with air pollution, rising temperatures, and topsoil erosion. Social inequalities are driving people out of rural areas and into sprawling urban centers, adding pressure on India's major cities, with some of the worst air quality levels in the world. It's an environment ripe for new solutions. Sustainability expert Kunal Jagdale sees urban gardening as an ideal way to decarbonize households.
It's an additional layer on your roof where it acts as an insulation to the heat that is being transferred inside the house. So it reduces, as I said, 5 to 7 degrees of Celsius, it will reduce heat that is coming inside the house. And apparently if heat is coming less, you will need lesser AC.
Based in Delhi, the world's second largest city, Mayank Sharma has turned his green thumb into a thriving business. He started his journey over a decade ago to cope with the death of his father, also a gardener. Now he has found success online, captivating over 300,000 followers on Instagram. He uses social media platforms to promote sustainability, educating viewers on how to transform their rooftops into mini gardens.
Imagine a Delhi where an aircraft lands or a drone flies by and there's no terrace which is not green, right? Which is not having fruit plants, vegetable plants. That'll be beautiful, right? And that's the idea behind all of this.
But gardening isn't just about living sustainably. As Mayank Sharma's story shows, it can also be a tool for healing. The founder of a business called The Greenish Affair, Aditi Qatar, shares how greenery helped her deal with mental health struggles and hopes to inspire others to do the same.
People actually started getting plants home because they come with the least responsibility as compared to pets and kids. So I started my journey like that only because I used to find my happiness here. I used to share it with the people, and I wanted people to know that how plants can actually help you overcome your stress or anxiety, or in my case, it was postpartum depression.
Terrace by terrace, roof by roof, these people are working to make urban Indian households more sustainable, inspiring others to add a touch of green to concrete spaces, improving their cities and their mental well-being. Joseph Oh and Miriam Brunner for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow us on social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we go to the Netherlands to visit this newly opened seal sanctuary. I'm Yvonne Yang. Take care, and I'll see you next time.